Oh, now does this count?
Yes.
This is part of the commentary.
I actually wanted Tubbs's face to come round on this globe, and they said we can, but it'll come out of the budget.
So that was the end of that. This is the most exciting part of the film, saying that.
To actually have that.
Anyway, we should introduce ourselves. I'm Steve Pemberton.
I'm Jeremy Dyson.
And I'm Reece Shearsmith.
And I'm Mark Gatiss. This is the League of Gentlemen's Apocalypse on DVD.
This is a sort of homoerotic opening.
Just
as ever.
Pitch black, as ever.
You can imagine the images in the dark.
So, all this filmed in Ireland. In fact, 95% of the film filmed in Ireland for tax reasons. So where was this? Howth?
It was south of Dublin on the coast, wasn't it?
I'm not going to go around trying to remember every single location.
I think it's a very popular place for scattering ashes. I read that.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was crunchy underfoot.
And this set was an amalgam of about 6 different locations, wasn't it? Because there was a real bungalow that
This is the real one.
But it was not the one that we see in the exterior.
Oh no.
Hey, it's me.
This was we lost this location about 28 times.
It cost half the budget, didn't it?
Yeah,
the problem
trying
was
to find
a cottage. In fact, it was going to be built, then it wasn't, then it was.
This is TV and cinema's Michael Sheen playing Jeremy Dyson.
Oh yeah.
And whenever we watch the film, we always gauge how the audience is reacting by how they laugh at that joke, or whether they laugh at that joke.
I've had some screenings where that was completely deaf ears, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
maybe it was because they were deaf ears. And that would make sense of not laughing.
How did you laugh now, listener? You missed it, didn't you? Because we were talking all over.
It was a strange and telling thing because that was a joke that on the page you didn't know whether it was going to, no one talked about it being a big joke, and it is one of the biggest laughs in the film, isn't it?
Thankfully.
It was almost cut so many times, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was one of those difficult balance things about whether to over-orchestrate it. It no longer sounded like a phone call.
Yes, that was the problem.
But it works.
It works.
Look, we put these in
Merchandise
hope
we've never
that
had.
One day, yes, we might get them. We're never going to get them, are we?
If we haven't got them now, when are we going to get them?
Quite.
The whole thing's a product placement exercise.
For things that don't exist.
Well, no, you can buy the DVD because they've just sent the DVD,
That's
so you
true,
can buy that.
Yeah.
The little models, I predict one day they will come out.
I predict there will be men on Mars by 1970.
In 100 years, in a kind of one of those News of the World adverts.
I think
a plate.
A very pretty, little painted
The Life of Christ in Cats.
And the clever thing that we've done here is that in only a minute and a half, we've established the conceit that the League of Gentlemen is a comedy programme, and it's written by him as well as other people. And that's kind of done and dusted now. We can move on from that.
But have we, though? Have we established? I don't think we have.
I think we have.
That he's a writer? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we have.
We have to. Where else is it happening in the film otherwise? And later on, actually, in the scene.
Coming up now is
it was
a plop.
important.
Now, that was added on in post-production because it was just the giggle, wasn't it?
There was no plop in the script.
And you did it, didn't you? You went into a room.
I just felt...
Did you do a big shit?
Into a room.
I felt...
With a tape recorder under his
No, but that's not what these sound recorders
You did a gynae.
Shush.
That's already been cut. Look, I'm going to say the rings around Michael's eyes when you first see that he's looking through those binoculars were added on or thickened in
digitally
CGI,
remastered rings.
Absolutely, to make them look more scary. This was one fight that was done in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
With one go at it, maybe 2.
So we had, the first scene of the film was the one in the writing process we struggled with perhaps more than any other, or just as much as any other, because we had about 30 ways of beginning it, didn't we? Do you begin it with the writers deciding not to do Royston Vasey anymore? Do you begin it with the characters noticing something's wrong?
Absolutely, yeah. It was a hard choice to decide how to start it and make it look, that first image of a film. But you can get trapped in the headlights of what a film is.
Well, now, doing it this way, you're already halfway into the story. They already know that,
Absolutely, yeah. And
fictional.
you're, as a viewer, wondering what's going on. Is he imagining it? I think.
Is he a mentaler?
We
We were also very keen to sort of start it with like a Bond pre-title, to start very...
That's right, this
very
was
much-
always conceived as a pre-title, wasn't it?
like a Scream type.
Because there was at one point going to be an animated title sequence.
Imagine
when there was
that.
money involved.
Yeah, it's like Pink Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, it was Pink Panther, wasn't it? It was inappropriate.
Well, even until the last minute, we were going to do one where you'd roam around the house and see all these bits of so it would tell you the story of the League of Gentlemen.
Yeah.
That is actually the light from the lighthouse, isn't it?
Yeah,
that
we timed
wasn't
it, didn't we? Yeah, to
it
try to
wasn't
get it
faked up.
into their.
And Michael got this part because
he had curly hair.
He has curly hair. Yeah. Also, little known fact, is Jeremy's real brother.
Don't say that, because that
Changed his name
somehow
to
will become law.
I remember Steve Bendelack coming back, who's the director, from shooting that scene, and he said the sea was the flattest, calmest sea on record. And but we get away with it.
It doesn't have to be stopped.
Now there's a rare improvised joke coming up, isn't there?
Semi-joke, yeah. Well, yeah, joke. It's a laugh.
No, it is a laugh.
Which is this bit when we pop up.
Right.
Originally, it was,
Yeah.
And we were just going to be there
Get
again.
closer and closer.
It was like, let's pop down and then...
and on the day we
Come
decided
on.
to do that. Yeah.
It's funny because they're not actually trying to be sinister, but they can't help
Clearly are,
themselves.
yeah. And I remember when I lost my contact lens, stood there.
Yes.
Literally popped out my eye and was
This is
my
a
favourite
great
bit, it's my
special
favourite
effect.
bit.
Great special effect.
But music as well, of Joby's music. This is so... You feel like you're watching a film, and you are.
Don't say this is your favourite bit.
It is my favourite bit in the whole
That's all
Over and
downhill
done
now,
with
isn't it?
instant.
That's it.
When you're sitting there, it gets you excited, doesn't it?
And now, nothing more to say about it.
Now,
Goodbye.
goodbye.
Yeah, but I lost my contact lens. We're on the grass trying to find this black circle on the top of a cliff in Ireland.
At
We
midnight.
found it as well. Now, who's that?
Now let's talk for
Is
a
that
moment
Savannah
about
or Georgia?
giraffes. This is the bee giraffe. All right, this is a saga. I'll cut it down. We were told we couldn't have a giraffe because you couldn't work with them because
were
they're
spooked.
zoo
Skittish,
animals.
skittish animals.
Too easily spooked.
This we were asked to do an elephant, and at one stage a gorilla, a man in a costume, which I said would be just like wanking a man off, and probably should have.
Which
to
we
go.
should have done.
Yeah.
In hindsight.
In hindsight, we discovered that the thing about not working with giraffes was a lie, and we exposed the lie.
Except it wasn't a lie, because it was true.
No, well, we found this one. I went on the internet that night, and I found it, a giraffe with movie experience.
So many levels to this
Oxford.
story.
In Oxford. Unfortunately, the thing is, you should never work with giraffes because they don't really have film experience. They're monsters.
Yeah.
And this thing eventually took 3 different goes at doing against green screen.
But it's worth saying there is only one single shot in this entire scene which involves Mark and the giraffe that were actually there at the same time.
It's ludicrous. Every
Everything
element
else is elements. Yeah.
is put together. The trees weren't there. Your hair wasn't there.
My hair, the shirt.
Your
was
shirt wasn't there. It was
post-production.
a different shirt I had to put in.
I was naked, and
She wasn't there.
the biddies were only added in the last stage.
Yeah, well, they were cut.
They
That was
nearly
like,
got
we're
cut,
never
yeah.
going to have the biddies now.
Caused us a lot of problems.
And we
because
were
of the
worried
later
about
reference.
losing that line spunk up over a load of old people.
Yeah. I had an old lady lined up ready to do it. Well, she's not old, but she said, I don't mind doing it. I've not been spunked up on for years.
We must also point out that to me that jizz was not gloopy enough.
No, it's wrong.
It was
Should've been-
mixed up by 2 strange and surly men.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like rice pudding.
It was cream and yogurt.
Cream and yogurt, yeah.
It was
should be
leftovers
wallpaper
from the
paste.
catering.
Should be wallpaper paste.
But I think big up Danielle
Yeah, she was terrific.
who played Dahlia.
She was
Now there's a
very
poster
game.
there in the background that says the Bull Monty, and regular listeners and viewers will know that's a running joke. We've
Is
had
this a
since the
radio
first
show?
series.
we're
It's
doing?
every bit as weak as the other
Listeners to
one.
the commentary.
Which
Yeah,
is why
yeah.
you can't see it. Do you think, was there a reason? There was absolutely no doubt that we would go back to Series 1 Pauline Hare, was there? We always
No,
thought.
it was
It was
clear.
classic Pauline, it wasn't
Classic Pauline Hare. In fact, what we decided was that we would sort of exaggerate the sketchiness of the characters.
it? Yes.
And this is a good example. So all these double entendres. When you look at the series, Hairlip, he didn't do that many of them. It was more mangled German. But in order to make these characters sort of resonate when they go through into the real world, we thought it was really good to up them. So therefore, Pauline's hair, lipstick, costume, the colour of her blouse, and everything.
yeah,
We
he
really
was
had
very
to
good, yeah.
turn it upside down. It's like Hillary, we always wanted in the series to be quite realistic. In the film, he has to wear a kind of comedy butcher's outfit.
Yeah, so he looks like
he's
a
an
kind
archetype.
of bigger character in
Yeah.
the real world.
Well, we wanted them to walk through into Hadfield and for them to look out of place.
Out of place, yeah.
Do you want to talk about, Steve, about the living hell that was this day?
This layer was living hell. It was not as bad as the following day, but there's Bruno Langley there and Alan Morrison, and neither of them had done a film before. They were so excited beforehand.
It's a shame
And
for them.
blue-lipped near corpses afterwards.
He was Bruno's knees were actually knocking, and I think he was looking forward
It was
to the
just
Daleks.
freezing. It was raining anyway. It was freezing cold, and
It doesn't
that,
really come across as bad as it was.
that
does it?
film rain stings you because it's so heavy. They put something in it. It's like
Lead.
to show up. Lead. It's
Lead
lead
shot.
It's horrible.
Then they collect it all up and kill swans with it.
And here we are, suddenly no weather because the bloody wind machine was rubbish.
All the skies placed in afterward.
Wrong arm. Shut
But
off.
there you go.
Yeah, this is what we could not fathom. This is the first of the many moans.
First,
Arm on the war memorial. There's an
Unbelievably.
outstretched one to the
Now,
heaven.
I just want to point out the
Here we
man pushing
go.
the car. This is the only major blooper I can.
You can't see the
You
man.
can. He moves. There.
oh yeah.
He moves.
I don't point him
Because
out.
Reece can't drive, so therefore someone had to shove the car.
In my mind, that's Bruno Langley creeping out.
Pushing the car.
All right. Yeah.
It was
Anyway.
Bruno Langley pushing the car.
Back to the arm, because I want to get this out.
All right.
The arm that wrote that the arm of the war memorial would be struck by lightning, and you would think that they would choose the one that was outstretched to the heavens. But
With the one with the wreath in that's outstretched to the heavens.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
No.
no. There's another arm on that morning, withered and pushed very
And
tightly.
foreshortened.
Yeah,
Nobody
tightly
notices.
to the body of the piece, and they decided that would be the one that would be
A
lightning
curious
strike.
decision, but there we go.
And here we are. You can't quite make it out, but it says Royston Vasey Chapel of Hope on that sign, and we thought that would be mirrored when they go into Hadfield with Hadfield Church of
It was, but we had
Normality.
to cut that
But you can't
scene.
see it, can you? Oh, yeah, it was cut.
You
Yeah.
had to cut that. Yeah.
There's a clown.
This is actually a test for the new Batman film, but the Joker's not in it now, so.
So they got this woman for it with teeth.
Now,
She was very good.
She
actress.
was great.
I was
wasn't she?
intimidated by her. She's very good. The tininess, I kind of
Very
learned
tiny,
a film
yeah.
performance from her. Though
And
she's
then,
doing
and then forgot
nothing.
it again. Yeah?
Yeah, I forgot it.
She was like Gary Cooper, wasn't she? You couldn't see what she was doing on set.
There was nothing. I thought, well, there's nothing to this, and I looked back and my God, there was gold.
We cast her in Ireland, and her accent was terrific. We cast most of it in Ireland, which did cause some consternation because a lot of people's English accent was kind of
Not very good.
not very good. Let's be frank.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. But the people we cast, they were terrific.
Apart from all the rubbish ones.
Oh yeah, them. Yeah.
So this was, there was touch and go with this being in the final edit, but also just with having a Bernice sketch up front to kind of reintroduce the idea of her being a nasty vicar was. We always had the idea. Wasn't it originally the one where she locks him in?
Well,
for
this is the
doing-
point is we wrote,
experiment with
didn't
that.
we? There were
It was a
about
different
3
one,
or
wasn't
4
it?
different confessional sketches
Yeah.
that we actually, I think we tried them out for
Series three?
series 2, but we never used them.
Yeah.
Although this wasn't one of them.
We
This,
wrote a
this
new
we
one
wrote
in the
fresh.
end, yeah.
But the idea of
It was Lily at one point, wasn't it?
Lily.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was we didn't have it in, but it felt like the beginning of the film wanted to be very funny and sketchy and introducing the characters. So
And actually, nicely enough, when it arrives, this scene, it's kind of a little moment of
It's a
calm
wreck.
from that really kind of frenetic
No,
beginning with all
pace-wise it
that.
works.
We also wanted
Oddity.
we wanted it to have a kind of sketchy feel to introduce the characters to sort of lull you into the idea that these would be the ones who'd go through. And in fact, they're not. So you have a Chinnery, you have a Bernice.
And Pauline comes in and she's explaining.
Pauline,
It's
yeah.
all
But
explained
this
to
shot
her.
here, I really wish that
I
it was
know.
face on because we did a really funny windswept hair. And
Which has now gone back. Because
Which has now gone
do you
back.
do a little touch of your hair now as if
also,
to suggest.
the lantern hanging up on Jesus' hand was cut.
It wasn't that a lovely moment,
It
wasn't
was.
We had to cut that. We've
But
got
I
so
mean,
much.
one of our
Dear listener,
strange bugbears, in fact, now I don't think it's actually played out because I think it's correct watching it with an audience. We were frightened that a lot of the air in our film was being slowly but surely taken away, like we often bemoan the series. But ultimately, I don't think it's
No,
wrong.
that's about
You
right.
watch it and you're actually wishing it to go
For the
quicker.
layperson, when you say air, you mean just the sort of space
Yeah,
around
the space
sketches.
between,
Not
the
actually
kind of
oxygen.
long ears.
no, that wasn't it.
Now, this was
No.
a set, of course, and this was a brilliantly clever trick on the part of our production designer, Richard Bridgeland, who, to get the most out of the money, this set was recycled as Dr. P's chamber.
Yes, but heightened, wasn't it?
Yes, and if you look carefully, you can see it's got the same geometrical structure as Dr. P's
It
chamber.
was wonderful.
But, of course, it's lit and dressed and completely different.
This was a real kind of hammer horror dream for us, just wandering around those kind of catacombs. It was just
with
so
the-
much fun.
With lanterns. It was
Yeah.
very Omen too.
Is now the time to talk about the studio, the non-studio studio that we
Honey.
shot in?
It was
Honeywood.
just mentioned here this is the second time we get a laugh out of a spunking giraffe and not the last.
Yes, not the last.
What was annoying about this non-studio is a big warehouse next to a paper mill, was
It
it?
was
Yeah.
a paper mill.
Paper recycling factory, and therefore they had really sensitive fire sensors.
Yeah.
So all those candles would just set every 3 seconds. You get 3 lines out, and then it'd be, and then they'd have to reset it. And so
And the
the
sound
day
of a
was.
forklift truck reversing outside. And It was a bit of a false economy.
It's trying, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes, very often.
Listeners may note that we are recording this just before the film comes out, so we're full of bile and bitterness at the moment. 6 months on, it would be much.
But also, we don't know how it's been received. We might have won an Oscar.
Oh yeah.
Or it might have been
Not by
flop.
October.
Do you remember
Alright,
the difficulty in trying to make that sequence work? Because we had an idea originally in the script that it would be a huge fissure would open
Well,
in
we
the
shot
ground.
it. We had this bizarre thing where they actually had a piece of raised platform with soil on it, which would shoot up. Is that right?
Yeah, the car was on.
The car went down.
The
that
car
way,
went down. That went.
But it looked like we'd literally just driven into a blank wall.
Yeah, and couldn't really fathom what had gone on.
It was
but-
also pitch black because we lost the light.
Thankfully, the idea of the fireball really helped us out, and then it cutting back to the prediction on the
tell the
fresco
story.
really helped. Yeah,
It salvaged something that looked, actually, when we started editing it, we thought it was completely unworkable.
yeah, but we managed to make a sequence from it, and then that was the third of the giraffe.
Jeff joke.
Ringing out of the giraffe spunk.
I can't help feeling there should have been a fourth.
Or 5.
There's room.
Calderdale was an awkward one, wasn't it? I remember thinking it's a very local joke. You might not understand.
But do you think it
Calderdale.
plays now, or do you
I'm
think
not
it's a
sure.
mistake?
I think sometimes you
It gets
don't know
one or
what.
two.
You can sense
individual
people think
laughs.
it means
If you
somewhere.
phone Calderdale, but I'm not sure that it instantly sounds like a place.
It sounds parochial. You can tell it sounds like that.
We'll see.
It's not like Leeds.
We'll see. But the question is, do you need to have heard the place to get the joke?
Yes.
Yes.
You do. This joke was.
This is a great joke.
It's a very funny joke, but it was
had to fight for it,
strangely
didn't you?
killed. Yes, I did. I thought because the editing went away from her and went back, and it was just like, what are they waiting for?
You've got to hold it
You've
like
got
Omar
to-
Sharif on the camel.
Yeah,
Absolutely, you have to see how
just
long. What is she doing?
No,
what
we
is she
should point
looking
out
for?
this thing here is a completely flat floor.
Yeah.
And every time we go down, we're doing that thing of miming walking downstairs.
What did you say that time was Helen?
It works,
It's really
though.
funny.
You said I didn't like tight spaces, and you said it's not what I've had. Should have been in.
Now this. So we're about to see our some of our doubles
Our ultimate favourite.
entering
We've
here.
already seen
so that's
them.
the real me, the real Mark, but Josie.
Yeah, pretend.
Jose.
Very good. Look at that little Jeff
Portuguese
shrug.
Irish.
He was Jeff, wasn't he? Yeah, he was very good. Such a strange thing to have them. Was that you, Mark?
That's me.
That was you. That wasn't like your acting.
Yeah.
There was a bugger on there. We cut it.
I think it needs it. I still do.
Well, we put it
I
in
don't.
bug.
Book. I've just said it then. Book.
Now this was. We didn't know what this room ought to look like.
But not this.
You can.
Anything but this.
It's. I mean, we just said a plain room.
A dead
And
space.
could you get any plainer?
I
It's
like
our
it,
own
though. I
fault,
think
isn't
it
it?
works. I think it
We
works.
can't complain.
No. I mean, yeah.
I
We
like
should
it.
have
I
said-
like the Kubrickian kind of space of it and the echo,
And I love
strange
the
echo.
I love the dead sound. It's
Yeah.
curious,
I think
isn't
they've saved it in the sound.
The sound design is very specific regarding the film and the 3 worlds that we kind of go through.
Now, it's also worth mentioning that originally, now this moment here, what we wanted was a real shift in style and maybe even a shift in film stock we talked about, didn't we? So
Yeah.
that
It does change.
it does change. It definitely changes, but we were talking about the different ways you could mark those because it goes very handheld here, and up to this point, the camera has not been handheld.
Formal, yeah.
It's been
Unlike
very
Royce
formal
Bases
shots.
filmed originally in the series. And
Yeah.
we wanted, but that moment when they return into that crypt, it to be completely white, like the other room, in fact. Then you would absolutely think, everything has changed. I'm not sure you think everything has changed. But when he turns up, you think, this isn't the same film.
Now, until the last,
Jeremy's shaking his head. Closing his eyes.
until the
I
last
can't
minute,
read him, I don't know what it means. But I like it.
He's saying to you, "Shut up."
All
Rick."
right, I see.
Philip, the fruity vicar, lovely performance. What did he say to you? That's the.
What kind of mad do you want this to be?
No kind of man. Thank you.
Here we go.
Hadfield.
So we had a shot when we came out of the church and everything was different and restored, but it was beautiful sunlight. And then when we got to Hadfield at the end of the shoot, the weather was dismal. So
But
we
the
just had to
sound
stay
suddenly
with
is
that.
very much now not at all orchestrated. It's all car horns beeping and kids playing in parks and sound that you would remove if you were making a film. We suddenly want it to be very much kind of not
Bleak.
placed.
wanted it to be like a Ken Loach.
Yeah, suddenly very
Yeah.
real and
Yes.
not sound designed.
Yes.
This is my second favourite bit of music coming up.
Yeah, this is
When,
one.
And if you
she
can
walks
imagine, I'm
by.
gonna
This
Yeah.
was on from the temp mix from the very
Yeah,
start.
it's just
We
wasn't it?
wanted to
Yeah.
keep it
I
really-
love the Sixth Sense way that she just drifts past
Yeah.
like a ghost.
They had one shot at this as well. That was scary.
This could have been a bit funnier, I think, had there been a bit more time. I mean, it's good, but it's
yeah,
just...
well, it was kind of... I mean, I don't really know whose fault it was, but we arrived and there was absolutely no effort made to make the house at all different. You know, it was like, there's no things.
Money, didn't we?
It's just a time issue, I think. I mean...
Performances were good, I thought.
Yeah, no, it's good. I'm not saying it's not good. It's just...
Oh, God.
It was rushed, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was rushed, but the film was, really. And here I return. Is it right that it's raining? Shouldn't be raining, it should be dry. However, can't do anything about it. There's his racism.
And we did have a voiceover, a very heavy-handed voiceover. What's this? This is a location for the League of Gentlemen.
Now, that was a clever effect shot, wasn't it? Because, of course, Reece is doubling himself there. And so we did that with a green screen, didn't we?
Now, this is a bit of a cut, isn't it? It's a shame. It might be on the DVD, ultimately, the longer version. But we had, at this point in the film, more time for them to sit. There was a scene of
the aforementioned air.
Yeah, looking at the telly just in disbelief, and the camera kind of panning across the faces.
This is a big thing for us from the beginning of how much you need to explain to a new audience. And you realise when we shot it that it's, you know, we do it an awful lot. Eventually we took quite a lot out because it's like, really you have to give people credit. It's like, yes, it's a TV series, characters come alive, got it, fine. And then we had about 3 more scenes saying, are you sure you've got it?
Yeah, so suddenly, here we are with characters that somehow have realised that they are characters, meeting some other characters that don't know they're characters.
I mean, in the original draft of the script, it's probably 25 minutes. Just this scene alone would have been about 25 minutes long. Because it's such a big thing to take on board, isn't it? That, how do you take on board that you're a fictional character?
Swiftly.
But you have to swiftly, yeah.
We cut it right
down.
down.
It's not the funny thing. The realisation is not the funny thing.
Exactly.
I'm not sure you quite get the idea that they've been kind of surveying them. That board was not used as much as we did.
That was another location that went kind of tits up, wasn't it?
Technically, of course, this was a very demanding scene, wasn't it?
Yeah, because look, there I am 3 times over. Yeah.
We were saying that, I remember, in the day when we finished this day, it was exhausting, but actually a real benefit of having an incredibly tight schedule was that on a 12-week shoot, we would have spent a week on this scene.
Oh, God, boring.
And it would have just been really boring.
Yeah. So and the day of doing it was tedious. Was?
Now, when was that picture of Sheen taken?
Strangely,
is that his school photograph?
That was one of those things that I always wanted to avoid anything I ever do, but somehow always creeps in, of the kind of spotlight picture.
Yeah.
You know, you'll have a domestic drama and there's like a picture of someone on the mantelpiece, but they're resting on their chin.
It's a 10 by 8.
really well lit.
Contact by a spotlight.
It always happens.
Yeah. We wanted that, though, the idea that our photographs were going to be arrogantly...
this was added in last minute to try and have some kind of joke in this.
Some kind of character for Lazarus.
Extremity, wasn't it, for Papa Lazarus?
It says in the script that it's...
But I've realised, look, Chubbs, now she eats a hair sandwich in the first series.
Oh, brilliant connection.
So that is a connection. When she thinks, oh, that's tasty, it's a back reference, so that we didn't realise it at the time.
Maybe Lazarus used to provide her with hair.
I think he did.
In the script it says pubic hair, doesn't it? A ball of greasy pubic hair.
Yes.
God. I think of it like a fur ball, you know.
And again, that was added in
And
last
what you didn't know, Reece, is that you were given a ball of greasy pubic hair.
No, I didn't.
All sparks.
What?
Got a clipping.
Little in a tobacco tin like Christy.
Yeah.
Saving it for weeks.
Yeah.
We were going to have a line here where we'd double over here. All these sandwiches stink.
Yeah. We couldn't quite make it fit.
And we lost a scene there. We lost a scene where Hillary refuses the mantle of mission leader.
It'll be on the DVD.
It'll be on the DVD.
It's in the trailer.
Fill in the
it's on the trailer.
2 girls coming up walking in front of me, and they were massive fans, these 2 on the right here, and they just said, can we be in your film? And we said, yeah, in a rare moment of kindness.
Yes.
Yes. Look at you doing that retractable blade.
Yes, now if you've watched the deleted scene, you'll realise that in the scene he realises it's a prop and not a real knife.
But actually, without that scene, I appear to be trying to commit suicide in a quite haphazard fashion.
But London dwellers, haven't we all wondered what the inside of Soho Hut would look like?
Last week I got a text from someone saying, I've just stopped outside that hut because I really want to know now.
What's inside it?
I actually went inside it when we were filming the exterior.
Is it like that?
No, it's smaller and stinks. Not that didn't. But... this is a studio in Bray Studios, which is a proper studio in Ireland. We were allowed to use it for one day.
I remember
it was
going very smoothly,
it
that
was
scene.
incredibly swift. It was, you just did it 5 times.
It was like, this is what the film could be like.
And this was the last shot at all of all time.
Yes.
In the entire film. The shot of us in the actual office.
It was nice that we ended the entire film dressed as ourselves, because we just go home.
in the clothes, and then
That's what I was pleased about.
See ya.
See ya, I'm off.
I went to the rap party.
Do you want a wet wipe? No, I'm all right. Bye.
Reece, you still wear your outfit as well.
I do. I've got it. I've got the jackets. I've got the jeans. Absolutely, there's nothing wrong with
You
it.
not got those white shoes there.
I've got that Jeff coat.
Does anyone know about the eye wheel?
No one gets eye
Never
wheel.
gets a laugh.
But it's not really meant, like Steve pointed out to me, it's not actually funny.
It's just funny to us.
That's what he said. Well, don't worry, no one's
It
making
is
a
funny.
detail.
It is.
Yeah, it's a detail.
But like Jeff's face coming up here when he asks him about, what's he doing at the computer, and Ellipse is writing. I mean, that doesn't get a laugh, but when you watch Jeff's face, when you're watching it for the 5th time on
there's
DVD,
other...
You'll laugh at that.
Peppered.
Look at you sweating like a man on a...
Is this a good time as well to talk
paedophile in
about
the creche.
that Jeff is a different character in this film to the one he is in the series? Because he's sweet and kind in this film, and he's not in the series.
Yeah, it's true. He has less of the bitterness of the
He's
world
childlike.
on his shoulders.
Well,
childlike in this.
the massive difference for me, and it wasn't until watching it that I realised, is we have completely sided ourselves with the characters, as opposed to you're in the series. You are Benjamin going into this weird place, and you're on the side of Benjamin going, Christ, aren't these people awful? Now you're on the side of the characters.
Coming out and saying the same on the other way.
Yes.
That says MDF management.
Originally, it was PMT management, wasn't it?
Because our real management is PBJ.
But who objected to PMT? Was it?
I think it was Steve Bendelack.
Steve
Yeah,
Bendelack.
it was
Very
deemed-
sensitive about something.
Well, he is about women.
Now, before we go on to that, the Mr. Bean poster, I want to clear something up, because people have said, they have a real dig at Mr. Bean and Rowan Atkinson.
Not at all.
The reality is, Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson, is represented by our agent. So when we come into our agent's office, we see this big picture of
every
Bean,
time.
and that's why we put it in.
And you can't get unseen Bean.
Can
Do you
not?
remember-
You can't get it anymore.
They'll re-release on the back of this. They'll re-release
Amazon.
it.
Try and
Do you
find it.
remember that the first day we did this office scene, the Irish extras were
All
Tell you a
farmers.
story about that.
they were very big, bulky fellas with jet black hair. Didn't look in any way like a sort of.
It was all leather jackets
Soho.
and a shirt and tie.
They were like,
Jeremy said it was like a magistrate's court.
It was. When you came in, they looked like they were all.
So we had to
The
do
best.
it was
the
like
next day
Dexy's Midnight Runners.
The next day we had to get a lot of much more svelte young people in.
Well, all the girls look like the cause.
They did. They all
here
had
we've
black
got-
hair.
Turning round, we've got Kate O'Toole
She
on the
is.
right hand. She's playing the casting director. And
That's
the
Peter O'Toole's daughter.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm going to be working with him soon. And then Liam Cunningham, who's one of my favourite actors, doing his tiny part. But he lives in Ireland, so that was very cheap.
But he was very keen to be involved, and just to do a tiny bit. It was lovely to have him.
Yeah. But I
She
think
was
we
very
missed the
good.
punchline again.
We do miss the punchline.
It's a wrong cut, that.
It'll be on the
But
DVD.
there's me portraying myself.
You
as
didn't
a
know the cameras were rolling.
Slightly grumpy, kind of angry character that wanders around.
People keep asking us, is it this exaggerated, nasty version? And it's actually just the truth.
It is. In fact, toned down. Yeah. If anything.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Well, Steve was a bit, I think, in awe of Kate O'Toole, because he kept calling her by her full name. Everyone else was Steve and Liam and Peter and whatever the girl's called, but it was like, Kate O'Toole,
Sorry, Kate O'Toole.
Kate O'Toole, could you just move to your left, Kate O'Toole?
like-
Thanks, Kate O'Toole.
Let's ask Kate O'Toole. Kate O'Toole.
It was cute.
Like a touch of frost.
Yes. Excuse me, Touch of Frost. Do you... I love it. He's taken in by this
Liam
dreadful
thinks there's something in
performance.
this.
So the punchline to that is, after he comes out, Liam's character, the director, says,
Do you see
Very
that?
good, I thought.
I look at the place where a dildo might go.
You were.
I do. You've missed it now, but if
Very
you
good,
look,
I thought. Who's his agent?
Who's his agent?
Oh, it's cool.
yeah, we've missed that.
So here we are pondering over the film, which actually is Everyone's Got Tales, which is an actual real idea.
I think that
Jeremy
could be
Dyson's.
funnier. That leaves. It's not as funny as it should be somehow.
Yeah, no, let's talk about that, the Tails idea, because
Yeah.
Still, I still
years,
maintain it's a good idea.
Maybe it will be made.
How can it be when you've seen the ending?
years back,
Yeah,
Jeremy
there you
said,
are.
I'm telling the story
Sorry.
to the people. He said, on a train, I don't know where we were going to, probably Cheltenham, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right,
it was.
Cheltenham for a literary festival thing. And he said, if we ever do a film, I've got this idea. And we said, what is it? And they said, Everyone's Got Tales.
Yeah.
And
And it was responded to
Like that.
Like complete silence.
I still maintain that's the film we should have made.
But what happened? You didn't expand on it. It was just everyone's got tails.
There's one scene where people have their trousers let out. That's your lot.
Look, here are we leaving the office. It's interesting.
You're just describing what's happening.
This is another thing
audio description of the death.
What's the matter with you? Calm down.
We wanted to do.
We were just saying
We wanted to do a heist film without actually doing a heist film.
That was the only time that joke actually was left in the film. That was the only bit, and it was turned down. I'm not sure you can hear it now. One person has heard it. You saying we're not doing a bloody heist film.
No, you can.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Well, originally we were going to intercut, weren't we? Between
lot
us
more.
talking about it and then them doing it.
Yeah,
All the stuff with the masks. They would have boiler suits. We were going to try and do all the cliches of a heist film and then cleverly not do it.
In the end, though, we did it. We did it.
We
but
did
never,
it, we just
never
did it.
referenced the fact that we were doing it.
We
on
did,
purpose.
we did.
That's a shame.
There's a lot of physical stuff coming up now. It's a very physical part of the film.
It was, and it needn't
tiring.
have been. It needn't have been me and you, Mark.
No, it's annoying. People
Got
don't
masks
think
on.
it's
People might not think it is us, but it is. My pig.
barking our shins.
Yes.
It's ironic that the poster behind is for Churchill the Hollywood years.
Another of your movies.
Yeah, but
You
that
asked
wasn't
it to be placed there,
deliberate.
didn't you?
No, it wasn't.
Put that in,
deliberate
put that
at
in.
all.
What?
Look at that too colourful office. You see, this
It's
doesn't
worth-
go.
Viewers won't realise the magic of film. This was a desolate, empty industrial estate, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't a real office.
Can anyone explain though how he looked at them through an exterior window when that is clearly an interior window?
I don't think you will really ever clock that, Mark.
You might think it's a corner of Soho
Do
Square.
you know when that was meant to be me? Is that isn't me?
He was an
viewers.
Italian stuntman, wasn't he?
And he was sweating like a pig and nearly dropping down dead, and I was meant to be doing it.
On a
But I
heist.
didn't.
He was on a wire, though. It's worth
You've
mentioning.
been like Bonnie Langford doing Peter Pan.
I would.
What?
On a Kirby wire, you
All
know.
right. I thought you meant sweating like a pig.
That's another story.
With a ginger wig on.
This is action, viewers.
Cheers, and
It's
the
very
music's
exciting,
great.
We're
this.
doing our own stunts.
This is like
That pig.
Dempsey and Makepeace.
Oh, I don't say that. Is it?
Or
Is
bugs.
that?
It's like
It's
bugs.
very like bugs, yeah.
Talk us through the special effect of
Oh.
you bumping into you.
Right,
How
on the
long
left,
does
on
this
the right
last?
we have the real Steve Pemberton. On the left we have Enda, or as some journalists said today, Edna,
Yeah.
which is an Irish name. Anyway, and then they put my head onto his body, so that's not my body on the left, but it's my head, obviously.
And, then
And
there's the-
it's a handheld shot as well, so technically that's quite
And
a
I actually
demanding
bump
thing to
into
do.
myself.
We must say at this
Yeah.
point a word of great praise for our doubles who were fantastic and very supportive and creative throughout.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Enda, Jeffrey and Sean.
But then we had some others for the ending when we had to have two
There were
doubles,
more, yes.
and they couldn't afford
love-
actors, so they got anyone off the street.
I love the fact that just by putting that mask back, I actually looked like a cow. Look, the ears kind of grow at the top of my head. It's
Still
funny.
fits. It does
I am a
still
big
fit.
cow.
That line about the octopus was added in last minute.
Yeah,
that was,
As was the Hitler thing in the previous.
Yeah.
yeah.
Here we are
This is a funny
returning.
line.
That was just a
Improv'd as well.
Improv'd, yeah, and they said, "Oh, that's
Like
Good
Mike,
writing.
like Mike
Oh, they
Lee.
writed a script.
I don't know." Now, do you think people get
No, I said what we should have. I said to Joe,
hair lip?
put on
been
this.
changed.
I didn't. But I do wonder sometimes if people get it.
The idea that
I think they
now
do.
that's
They do
his hair lip.
eventually.
Look at the mouth; it's different. And my eyes are glued down.
You get it there.
You get it there, but I'm not sure when he swings round.
Here's a joke. It's
Overlook.
the Overlooked Hotel, as opposed to the Overlook.
And why is that?
It's from The Shining, which is.
And do you know that original sign just said "overlooked"?
Oh, it didn't.
And the hotel either side of it had to be digitally put on.
The Shining.
Really?
Yeah, it just said "overlooked." When
The
sign
Shining,
turned
a film I feel we should reference more.
Yeah. Oh,
How much more?
Exactly.
ironical.
Now this was a set.
Yeah.
It's a very good set, isn't it? Although Richard was upset about this because he had to do it very quickly because of a schedule change.
What's crazy was it was in a hotel that had rooms exactly like that.
That's right.
And this room was made inside.
In the ballroom.
But like this shot here, you can tell because there's obviously a wall to my,
Yes.
well, to the right of the screen there, which we've seen. But how are you getting that shot? So if you think about it, viewer,
Yeah.
it's
It was a
obviously-
shame because that hotel was extraordinary. It was like a ghostly place run by
The
this
Bray
lovely old
Hotel.
lady.
Now, do you remember the saga of the belly?
Oh,
yes.
God.
We tried to get a good wobbling belly, and we finally found Tony, one of the drivers, wasn't he?
Yes.
And he's got a hard belly. It
Rock
didn't
hard.
wobble.
Yeah.
Weirdly, is it beer that does that?
Yes.
The funny thing
Potatoes.
was,
Even
Beer and
stranger.
Tony's face.
Potatoes.
Tony's face is exactly like Jeff's.
Yeah, it was. He was like Jeff
Curly
anyway.
hair and the
But the strange thing, in order to
Right.
make it more like a belly, Daniel, our wonderful makeup designer, put lots of hair on it,
Oh, it was
and it
weird.
looked like a goat's rear end. It was really frightening. It was like the climax of a satanic ritual.
Now, this was the first scene of the entire film.
Yeah. Shot on
The
that,
shooting.
on the test
Yeah,
day.
but we called it a test day. It
That's
wasn't
right.
because we couldn't afford to have 30.
It was on a big fib. It was day X.
I couldn't believe that we were actually suddenly filming it, and it was
And
like,
in rehearsals, we were pissing ourselves laughing at this, and doing it felt so unfunny.
yeah, it was just like, well,
It's
we
very
better just
good.
do this then. It felt very.
Audiences like this, though. They laugh at your funny walk.
It's good, yeah. It's a good scene. It kind of this one in the penny drops of the
Your Manchester.
comedic idea. Yes.
He's done all right, Steve
Blackburn
Pemberton. Look at that
German.
big house in Dublin.
Do you think it looks like London?
London House.
It's Londonish.
It could be. It could be Islington. You could.
It's
Also,
more
it's
like-
broad daylight out there. When he comes in, middle of the night, all the lights on.
Well,
Now, see that photograph, bottom right? That's us four winning the Perrier Award with the real Jeremy.
That's right.
See, there it is, going up there to the top of the shot.
it's a nice photo.
And this house is full of my own personal photographs of us lot.
We've all got that photo in our houses in
Yes.
real life.
Yeah,
haven't
well, I
we?
bought it you all for Christmas,
That's
didn't I?
right. That's right.
It's got your dad in the background, hasn't it, Johnny?
Yes, that's right.
Looking on.
Look scowling.
Yeah. Like, who do they think they are? Won't last. It won't last.
I still don't think Pauline's funny.
She's had her day.
Maybe.
Now, here we are. That's Emily Wolf.
The
Fantastic.
family.
As
She was in the Full Monty the other night.
was she? Well, she's in it.
She's in it all the time.
Every time you watch it,
Strangely, it hasn't changed.
Back to the hotel, and they
to
are
the
reading
hotel.
this script.
Look at that bald head wig. I wish I'd shaved my head for this part.
No.
It meant another 3 hours every morning. with a
Did
bald
you
cap.
ever think about shaving your head?
No, I didn't. But
But you wish you had.
I wish I'd suddenly didn't occur to me the idea of a bald cap taking time. But it does. It's one of the worst things because it's meant to be seamless. You know,
It's very good, though. Very good.
it was a good one. Steve, would you find it hard to play yourself?
I did find it hard to
Yes.
play myself.
Yes.
But what I enjoyed about this scene was the idea that Steve was somehow being a bit precious about the script, saying, "Don't read it out loud."
Yeah.
I like it when he's trying to escape and he's still bothered about. Well, we're going to change that.
We had a lot more of that of his
Yeah.
kind of.
There is a truth in that, isn't there?
Yeah.
That's probably how he would be.
Well, he's in this really amazing situation, but all he cares about is the fact that someone's going to.
Read something before it's finished.
But yeah, it was. I don't know. It was strange. It was strange writing those roles. We didn't know how to
They were difficult, weren't they?
characterise
Well, we
ourselves.
tried to strip it right back in the end because it's not about them, is it? It's not about them having funny characteristics.
Yeah, they couldn't be as weird as the characters.
The only thing that doesn't ring true here is that Steve Pemberton has not seen The Evil Dead.
Yeah, it's true, but we needed it for
Vexed
the
me,
joke.
that.
That's my favourite line,
Yeah,
actually.
it's fantastic.
What, the twigs going up there? Yeah.
It is. It's the funniest line in all film.
I think it's. Yeah.
Is that right?
Remember we read it out, Jerry? You absolutely cried.
I think I got tea up my nose, didn't I?
I first read it to you, you were like, yeah. It's funny.
And then we have this sort of complicity between them. Both ways, you know. We didn't do a lot of that. The idea that what do the writers know about the characters and what do the characters know about the
It's
writers.
nice to have it in there, though.
Just a little, yeah. Not too much of it though.
I like Ponsonby Snottington Smythe, which is the kind of ultimate expression of a long-running thing for us about what we call not it, which is those kind of awful, very bad names, like having an explorer called Carruthers. And
Yeah. Cliche,
Very
really, isn't it?
particular thing.
horrible.
But do you remember, because in our original script it was just Snottington, and
Yeah.
then we gave it to Simon Pegg to read, and he said, the only thing I'd advise you to do is, people won't get that Snottington is bad enough.
We had to up
Yeah.
it.
We had
You
to up
did
it to
say that.
Ponsonby Snottington
They
Smythe.
probably still don't get it.
And Jeff thinks Snottington's funny.
Here we go.
And I want to know why they didn't do a Carry On with
this is-
Spacemen.
Yeah, quite.
This is The Shining. This is a reference to The Shining, apart from the dialogue.
Yeah.
Do you want to say where the dialogue comes from?
No.
Okay.
So, and here I am deleting the
Carrying on
script.
Uranus.
Yes,
That's what
that
it-
would have
Carrying On
could have been
Uranus.
called that.
Budget, they wouldn't have been able to afford it.
True. They did Moon 02 forever.
Yeah. And here I am with the terrible decision of shall I get rid of this, like he says, or shall I carry on reading it? No, I'm going to read
Oof, depressing.
it. We had that voiceover him saying that. We thought, no, we don't need to see it and say it.
Shall I carry on reading it?
No, I will read it.
You didn't record that.
No, I'm joking.
So here we are, 39 minutes in exactly, and we're going to enter yet another world.
Oh, it's crazy.
Goodness.
Jesus, it's 3 films in one.
Yeah, it's like a
Look
pot
at
noodle.
this, a cast
And
of
worlds
10
collide.
A meal
lads.
in itself.
Now this is
That's rather beautiful.
Powers
for the budget.
Court in Dublin,
Which
just
is a
outside
shopping
Dublin.
centre.
What?
Come stately
Powers
home.
Court's a shopping centre.
Well, it's
Was
because
it?
it burned the
Oh
interior.
no,
Is
it sold fudge.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
That's not a shopping centre.
It is.
Imagine if you knew that they were opening a new shopping centre.
We should say that that thing, that
and
thing
it
there
only
is a
sold
pig.
fudge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a demon.
Not Victorian Wood.
Hannah.
All right. Oh, Hannah the pig.
You can't tell. It's a bizarre
Look,
thing.
and here we are with 3 new characters for this film.
We were going to call them the three daft buggers.
No, it's not as if we were running out of ideas for new characters.
No.
And
Well,
that we were
had
desperately
these
felt
three.
we had to have huge wigs, purple faces, long noses,
Pointy noses.
and
Comedy
23
team.
birth. How many of them things was on your
Not
face, Mark?
enough.
Not enough?
No,
think
I
there's
wanted
a-
to have more in each scene.
Isn't there a review in Sight of Sound that says as if it's intentional how clever they've been to have barely sketched in characters?
That's right, yeah. They're not meant to be fully
All
formed.
right. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Look, there's
clever.
Steve Bear being a munch. I think.
But we did discuss, like, should this film have been a serious period drama?
I think there is
No,
scripts
not the
written.
actual film, you mean?
Yeah, no, this bit,
Yeah.
this bit,
This bit
mean
of the
the
film.
film that we wanted to break away from comedy to write, The King's
was a
Evil.
serious
But obviously-
historical thing.
And somehow Jeff entering it would knock it off course.
Yeah,
but
I
there-
thought
there-
that we wrote scenes
Well,
that
this
were
is
serious.
totally straight, really.
We did a bit of that, didn't we?
But there are jokes in all these.
Yeah, no, there are, but it's a choice.
You
isn't
can't
it? It's
see
not
that,
like-
but on that sign it says Wig Finder General,
which is a joke.
which was not shot.
Yeah, because my character's meant to be a wig maker. That comes across, I
That
think.
does come across a
There's
little.
mention
Oh
or
yeah,
two
no,
or
that's
three.
a running joke. That's
That's a
good.
beautiful little moment, isn't
This
it?
is what you
We've
call
been-
air.
We were being dragged along
Yeah.
on a rope there, weren't we?
We were by a man.
Now this, of course, again was a big...
There was lines in this. I forgot to wash my wig tonight. Really, what kind?
It'll be on there.
You see why it was cut?
We were
was-
very pleased to finally do a kind of period horror film and just get away with it.
Michael Sheen does the voice of this man.
Does he?
Yes, Sheen did
I
it.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
The Sheen stuff.
Because it was actually very hard for the actor to speak when he had this thing in his mouth. So it had to be dubbed.
This
they-
is a Mel Brooks joke.
It is.
It was.
But I wonder whether it was better when it was an exact repetition of the same line again.
I thought it was
Re-
Ah, but we do that with David and that.
I know we do.
But look at this beautiful shot here. I mean,
I remember-
considering this is 2 bits of plywood
Yeah.
with red curtains down there.
Now, I must just tell you here that I was nearly dead from the most terrible flu I've ever had filming this whole section. I've no memory really of that walking down that corridor other than being full of fucking
Like Dick
cold.
Van Dyke with Titty Titty Bang.
Terrible, yeah.
Now, if you're going to introduce a character played by David Warner,
Make him 10 foot tall.
this is the way to do it.
Oh, but they nearly didn't want us to do it, did they?
No,
What shall we say about the line?
it'll be on the extras.
Well, it
Say
might not
about
be.
the extras, I'm. Because when you say about the line, I'm. Yeah, do.
He pulls the cloak open and he says, I must have this taken up.
But he gets a great laugh on the reveal that he's not 10 foot tall.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Now, this, of course, was a much longer scene.
I wonder whether
Far
any of
too
this
long,
will be
really.
on the
Well, it's up
DVD.
to us what we put on. Yeah.
Yeah, but
there's
we don't
all
know
sorts
because
of
we're in the
stuff.
past.
Yes.
There were
Aren't we?
gags that were really funny on paper and
Yeah.
it just didn't quite.
It didn't kind of come across.
Yeah, but why was it when we first watched it through? It was like, oh, it's worked, brilliant.
That's true.
And then we
actually.
watched it again and it unravelled
It's in
for us.
context, I think. It's in context of the other story which you've left dangling. So people were a bit... They just wanted to know...
They're irritable.
Possibly a little
Oh,
bit.
stamping the feet. Ugh.
No, I think it's absolutely true that it does. Once Jeff's in it, it kind of all starts to feel as a whole.
Yeah.
This is funny though.
This was a saga, though.
Especially coming back to it.
Yes.
God bless him. But obviously, we should have gone from an arm on that wall straight across. And you get
Through
it.
the wall to
You
show
can't
the
really
facts.
tell until
No,
the
I
bum
know.
joke.
It's true.
But here we go.
There's me as the devil.
devil in all
Fulfilling
his
a
ways.
lifelong dream of just wanting to do that devil dance.
That's from Hexen, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like
old.
the little wank noise that's gone on.
I know. That was me.
Was it? Yeah.
So
Do you remember
all the jokes,
David said, should I sniff the parchment? Or...
I know. Dirty.
to give him credit, he said, I'm not going to sniff the pot.
He said, I'm not going down there, didn't he?
But the stuff that we cut out mainly is all about the sensitivity that Dr. P has about his name, because
Yeah.
it's P with an A, not
with an A.
P-E-E. And there were several references to that hopefully, viewers, you will see.
I think that ultimately it was because it wasn't spelt out that it was PEE. It wasn't set up, and therefore you didn't know what he was reacting to.
You would naturally assume that P is PEA.
I know
Perhaps
that. I think maybe is the flaw.
It reads good.
Yeah.
It doesn't translate phonetically. That may well be
True.
it. That may well
But
be
this was a thing. We wrote this part for David, and it was amazing to get him after all these years of adoring his work. And it was so strange that really in a huge career, he doesn't make the connections that we do about between The Omen and Tron and Time Bandits and things. It's just different parts. So to us, he's a kind of horror icon, but he doesn't really see them in the same way.
I know, it's strange, isn't it? Look at you, Mike, like a big cat.
Yeah.
I love it. It's like something out of Aristocats. It's really
But can I ask a question?
Yes.
That stuff on your cheeks, what was it meant to be? A diseased type thing?
Well, Daniel wanted me to look like a painting, like an
George
old
makeup.
master that had gone cracked,
Yeah.
which I loved. But it's kind of all to do with my persistent cough that I'm sort of ravaged.
Because when I had like
Syphilis.
Dick Smith horror makeup and made it and put it in the fridge, it went rock hard.
Yeah.
And stuck it looks like that.
Yes.
Look at that cat. I don't like the way I do
That's
that.
a false
line.
nose on Reece. We should point that out.
Oh, right, yes.
In case people don't know.
Right. It's kind of translucent when in that first scene.
I'd like to see more of the Three Daft Buggers. A spin-off.
And that is not a false nose on Mark, in case anyone was.
Although,
That's the fault. You've got a wig on there, haven't you, Steve? This was great, and there was more to this. His protestation about the eyes, but it was cut through.
It'd be nice to recut the whole thing.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
remember-
The whole-
yeah. It was fine. Yeah, it was good, and he knows about peep.
Ludicrous toenails.
The drool is hysterical.
he's
as well.
practically...
And it all comes out of your mouth, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There isn't suddenly a barrel.
That is the entire contents of someone's lung.
God. And the music here is brilliant. I think Joby's done a wonderful score for us throughout the entire film. It's marvellous. Very gruesome. One of the most horrific
It's
things
very
we've
disturbing,
filmed.
this, I think.
You'll notice these arches all the way around is where the frescoes were in the crypt.
Yeah.
All the little prophecies.
I don't
It's
like
so
the way you
nasty.
calm down.
I know, yes, it's funny.
I love
like,
it.
you know what it's like? It's like when you draw, not that you've done it, you may not have done it, I have, pushed a duck's head down and drawn a chalk line from its beak away from it. And they remain,
That's true, yeah.
their heads on the floor for about 10 minutes, and then
Can
they
I
kind of
ask
come
why?
out of it.
Because he was told
Because I'd
that
heard that happens. Shall we say what we call those eyes?
clams.
Pussy eyes.
Well, it's a polite version
That's
of
the
it.
15 certificate
God's
version.
sake.
Not when you text me eye.
This is
Don't
good.
worry.
Sorry, excuse me.
There are
People are
notes
shaking
being
their
made
heads
out
up.
there.
It can be cut.
Just before we go, I'll just
Like his
point out
eyes.
that it's a lovely little thing that the candelabra are leaning wearily as if to point out the
Passage of time.
No,
Yeah.
that Peter's line about being tired. In fact, they were so exhausted and almost dying. They were dropping.
They were totally
It wasn't
forgotten.
still Peter, though, was it?
No, it would never be.
And can we point out to a certain journalist it's not a reference to Repulsion, but a reference to Bella Lebet?
Correct.
Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
Like that journalist will be listening.
He really
Harum.
is. He's on his way.
I know. I love all the little things. I wanted to take them all off that,
I
that
know.
laboratory.
Yeah,
You know,
all those things you wanted as a kid,
Yes.
but actually now.
There should be an Aurora glow-in-the-dark model of this.
Dr. P's chamber.
Dr.
that
P's
would be
chamber.
very-
Great, wouldn't it?
Am I right in thinking that Dr. P was so named after John Dee?
That's right, Dr. D.
Thank you.
Indeed.
It's a very weak joke.
It's
I like-
a good
No,
joke.
it's if you know it, you will make that.
And look
Now,
at this. This
come
just
on.
could be out of.
How about this?
It's
Because
fantastic.
We wrote it is comes alive in the Dynamation way, never quite believing that
get
it
away
would
with
be done as stop motion animation.
But they've done us proud here. It's Loose Moose and McKinnon Saunders, absolutely
They
gorgeous.
did Corpse Bride, didn't they?
And this is
I
the
think they
first
cost idea.
film that has done this probably for 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? One
In the
No,
spirit
no,
of
forget
it.
it. Forget it.
Go on.
No. One reviewer said David Warner can easily conjure up bad stop motion.
And it's beautiful stop motion.
It is
that.
beautiful.
I mean, look at that.
That's like a still.
Why is that bad?
That's a still from the Golden
It's
Voyage.
perfect for the period
Yeah.
that we were
Absolutely.
evoking.
Evoker.
Or avoking, yeah.
But the journalists, we're talking a lot about journalists because we're actually promoting the film. But someone said to me, I was saying about, we have a Harryhausen monster, and she said, Harry, is he Harryhausen?
Not the only person in the production never to have heard of him. Moving on.
It's a fair point. That if you didn't know that's what we were referencing, you might think it was an unusual
I love that
way.
moment.
I know, I do.
It really works, doesn't it? We didn't script that, and that was...
No.
Well, we shot a lot
Tony
of extra
found that, the
stuff
editor.
there,
He was very good, and it really, really kind of punctuates and it gives you a little seed of like Jeff thinking there's more. There's
Well, we
something
didn't want to cut away, did we? We wanted to stay with the King's Evil, but
You realise it was
That's
actually...
Stuart Pearson Wright, the noted portrait painter, isn't it?
that did the front of our huge script book.
Yeah.
never sold a copy.
Usually
There's
selling
so many available.
You can get it from a Marie Curie shop, 50 pence.
Now, a word here, because we haven't yet, for Yves Barr, our beloved and long-lasting costume designer, for his beautiful work. Especially here, I think he was very keen on the silhouettes of these characters. But it's absolutely true how you're defined by the shape of the costume, and I think the choice of fabrics here, absolutely gorgeous.
No, it's beautiful. We were just amazed by.
She was good, wasn't she? The double for the
terrific.
monster.
Yeah.
She was little, wasn't she?
Yeah, but she does really good movements.
Good homunculus walk.
Who was it who wanted to
Come on.
date her? Someone.
You can't say that.
All right,
I know
okay.
it was. Let's now
But
talk
we wanted
about,
for a kind of Powell and Pressburger Technicolor feel to this, which is why all the colours are kind of
Popping.
knocked up.
Yeah.
And Bernard Hill was great, wasn't he? As a king,
was.
and made a part from nothing,
Yes.
really.
Yeah.
As did Victoria,
Yes.
less than nothing.
She literally did because she made a lot of her lines up.
Yeah.
But I think Bernard is absolutely brilliant.
It's just right, isn't it?
Yeah.
The funny thing is, they really feel like an item. It
good,
kind of
yeah.
wasn't meant to be that way, but as like a northern king and queen, it really has a sort of feel to it.
Look at that.
It's fantastic,
I
isn't
know,
it?
it was great. It's because for a long while we saw this scene without that, and it kind of became something else, didn't it? Once that was in there, and now here he is finally arriving, and I think the
Connecticut
audience will go,
Yankee
"Oh,
in
right,
King
I
Arthur's
get
court."
it. Yes, I get it." And there we are back in the real world. But it was funny because we had other jokes when we had the idea that Jeff would be there, like you have a mobile phone and take photographs. But we didn't think any of it was necessary in the end, did we?
No.
Just like get on with his
Just enough to have his personality.
his
isn't it?
journey. Yes.
His humour.
Yeah.
He's daft.
That
humour.
northern daft man in a coat sat among those people of that time.
We
This
never
is my
see-
favourite. I
We
love
never
this.
see Jeff Cochran,
No, you don't.
except maybe Dr. P does from his vantage point, and Tom Tit.
But we realised that going back to that moment when they're smashing the fire alarm, and I said, "If only I had a little tool. Have you got one?" He says, "No."
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
obviously defensive
Oh,
about
it's
it.
seeded, yeah.
yeah.
No,
It's a
it's
bit
placed.
accidentally, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
All the shoes lined up.
Somebody I know said that was their favourite moment in the whole film.
Bloody hell.
All the shoes.
Who was it?
We're doing something wrong.
Was it the same person you based the Dentons on?
Now, is anyone else as disturbed as I am by Hare Lip's proximity to these children?
No.
Okay.
There's no...
Okay then.
Within
Malice in
if you
it.
know the series, it may cross your mind, but within the film, I don't think there's that.
He's a kindly man, isn't
He
he?
is a kind
What do you think? Is he thinking... Does he have any thoughts for... who was the one he killed in the second series?
Justin.
Justin, at this point. Is
Not
he
even
thinking-
killed, kept
not
alive.
killed, he's
kept alive.
Kept
That's right,
He's
alive.
not killed. He's given
In a hideous half-life,
Yeah.
like the vanishing.
It's all different. It's a bubble, you know,
It's a
because
bubble.
he's really a vampire, lest we forget.
But I would have said,
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that part, that aspect of him.
when we were staying in Dublin, I used to ring Reece at night time and sing you that lullaby. to
I
get
did.
you
It
to
was
sleep.
really good. I used to add little tunes.
Schlaf in the Land.
Now that's sinister.
Dude.
That's genuinely so.
He did.
Especially he's
It
only
was the
next
only
door.
way he could go to sleep. He had this awful flu.
I did.
Sing us the lullaby.
Sing us a lullaby.
Now, I saw Emily's Busters here.
Oh.
You're not
cameraman
allowed to say
was-
that.
Well, it's obvious I did.
I thought there'd be two plasters on the
Yes.
No, she didn't want it.
Right, well, I think I'll leave you to get yourself off and I'll just go and empty the bins.
Steve?
This was very early on as well. It was quite odd because we had a sort of
You
guest
saw
star
Emily's
in.
Busters. How old are you?
Can I just say one
Did you
more
see
thing?
the other?
Right, no, I just want to say one thing here. Right, this is like day 2 of filming. Massive, massive scene for me. These 3 had the day off. Were any of them there to support me? No. They all fucked off to the cinema.
Yeah, what we saw.
You wouldn't have liked it
Dave
if we were
Shoes,
sat in
so-
judgment of you while you were doing this.
I wanted to put my head around and say, is it all right? Is it going well? There's no one there.
No one there.
Oh, the director maybe.
Crowded.
Sound like me now.
It's true, there's a strange personality change.
Jeffism. Yes,
No,
it's like
when
Doctor Who.
that was good, I like that you did with the hat. I was pleased because I remember you coming back and saying, "Yeah, it was all right, but it wasn't."
I was really depressed about how it
concerned
had gone.
about it. Yeah,
But it's
really
beautifully played. It's
It
really
is.
tender moment.
Until the zip.
Till the zip and all the sucking noise. Like,
What did you say it was like, Reece? A dog chewing a bone? A noise.
Chewing a toffee. Those were added on afterwards, I hate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
no, you didn't get to know her that well.
We're also blessed with Tony Cranston, the world's greatest editor,
Yes.
who had this scene and many others already assembled whilst we were.
Almost before we'd
almost
shot
before-
them.
It was extraordinary.
Supernaturally.
Yeah, he was very
And
good.
Tony has just been fantastic for us on this film.
Everyone has.
He makes it a proper film. Feels very cinematic.
And another thing that wasn't clear, because this cut that's coming up from this line into this massive laugh. Now, on the page, that didn't resonate, did it? But in the film, he says,
Yes.
the sack is full. There you go. Cut to this uproarious laughter. There's Alex Zane looking at an olive before he eats it,
TV's
thinking
MTV.
that's what period
He's
people do.
loud, isn't he?
This is one of my favourite scenes.
And here we are, yes.
Incredible
was
as
at the-
well. Just a tiny, tiny room that Richard and his team made flesh.
Well, it's the same room we did the wig makers.
That's right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just,
Redress.
but by using big paintings in the background, it kind of gives it a depth.
What we wanted a
just
massive
gorgeous.
room with about 80 extras. We wanted a pig ballet. We wanted
Dwarf ballet. Oh no, it was pigs.
It
You're
wasn't.
right.
Au
Yeah,
contraire. Never wanted a pig ballet.
yeah. The greatest thing, the strangest thing for me here is that I've got my hair under that wig. I finally need not have
Your
had
own hair?
the bald wig on. Yeah, it was like, oh, you don't.
How did you perform?
Well, I just said
Wait, was Jeff
I
in all
don't
this?
need to have the wig, and it did actually make me feel odd. It felt like it wasn't right in that funny way where you're not complete.
But remember, on stage, you used to do Jeff.
Yes, I know. Yeah, with nothing.
Nothing.
I love what
Just
Bernard does
just a
here.
little cloth, and she was there.
Yeah, she. It's a great wig. It's very.
Now, but again, this is great. It's a really kind of almost like a classic performance. It's like a
Yes.
Bernard Cribbins performance
Yeah,
or something, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's very good.
Like a Carry On.
And there you see in the background there Neil Hannon's wife.
That's right. But poor Neil
Was cut.
was cut.
He's
He was
over to
the,
the right.
He was in. He was a lute
minstrel.
player.
He
Yeah,
was a
he was a
minstrel.
Lascivious playings of and lute.
But we cut him.
That's
Yeah,
He loves
oof,
doing it.
the excitement. And then we realised we could have had another joke with that being Hannah the pig's head.
Yeah.
Except that the pig we saw on the funeral bier
Was a
looks
beast.
like a monster from fiction.
Looks like
Yeah.
Mr. Sin from Talons of Wench I
It does. So describe the day on the
This
eye.
was
'Cause
my
I never got to be on the eye
favourite day's
wheel.
filming.
Was
This is
it?
the last
Short.
day, and it was my favourite because we were so peaceful. We were left alone, weren't we,
Yeah,
Mark?
we were. It was lovely.
Do you not have all them people at the other side watching you?
Only at the end. But the
How many were in the pod?
The camera crew were in the other pod.
5.
And they could only shoot us for about 2 minutes before we went out of range. We just had to keep going round and round. It was ever so nice.
How long were you on it for? 2
We
hours?
decided to book the trend of espionage cliches and have a shot in the London Eye.
But it's
know.
a sort
It's
of
deliberate though,
third
isn't it?
man-ish,
Yeah,
isn't
it was
it?
such a
It was
beautiful
Saturday
day.
morning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In November, but beautiful.
Really nice day. And we went round 5 times to get the different angles on it. And we'd been on it before on the second series doing an interview. Do you remember?
Yes.
A radio
Oh,
interview.
yeah.
What, when it was first out?
It was, the first morning.
It was
It was Robert
8 o'clock in the
Elms.
morning.
With Elms.
Robert Elms. And I felt really queasy, and so I wasn't looking forward to doing this. But
It was lovely.
It's a great day.
Because you think you're going to be a little panicky, don't you? You're stuck in that
yeah.
space. But actually, if you just relax.
And this thing here gets a big laugh. The most obvious joke in the world.
Note to self.
Yes.
Don't bother. There's me.
Whose idea was it to put those?
We arrived in the sound mix and they'd done this, and I think it's real, you know.
It's a very
It's real.
funny sound.
It's from Real Pumps.
No.
Yes. There's one there that was always ready on hand with a tape.
This joke about potpourri and potpourri has not been used.
It's
since
strangely
the
dirty
17th
and,
century.
and doesn't really get laughs. I think it's
too
it's too
crude.
nasty. But it was worse. Remember we had when he says I don't mind, sir, and I say obviously not. I'm already pissed on your face.
That's right. I'm very pleased.
But Jeremy laughs. Should have been it.
Well, that's
Tom
funny.
Everyone likes Tom.
Suddenly though, you see the sound makes you see more shit on his face.
Than it was ever there.
I suppose that teenagers will love it.
Well,
But this came from the research, didn't it, Mark? Because I think me and you had read the same book.
That's right, yeah.
You talked about the Night Soil Man.
Night Soil Man who took away the royal leavings, or anyone's leavings.
This was the height of my flu. Sorry, just to chart the flu, but I was at 103 temperature. They said, the nurse said, I want to send you home. And they came to me and said, we can't send you home.
And we said, Dr. Theatre.
So I had to continue.
Throw him in again.
Throw him in again.
This is the lovely David Ryle.
It's very funny.
He's an old friend, isn't he, David?
He is. And do you remember the audition? We had it on tape. He was singing that song. It was the funniest thing.
And there's P.
Yeah!
How would you fit down there?
There's loads of room in the sewers.
And there's a bit more product placement coming up. I'll tell you the things you can buy, viewer.
And I don't, they'll all have them.
10p.
Them bags.
I don't like that you
buy
find that torch too quickly.
Yeah, but all this had to be quick.
I know it did.
Jump
I know,
cuts, it's
I know,
nipped up,
I know,
nipped
it's
up.
true. He finds it quick.
Now this was meant to be in a big. We had a big set of a loft, which was really beautifully lit, and then it ended up being the spare room, which was created at the top of the house.
Are those your drawings, Mark?
They're yours, yeah. I did loads I've never used.
I never used them.
White Supremacy Scoutmaster I wanted to do as a character, and
That was worked on, wasn't it? There were sketches.
we talked about it. We didn't actually write it.
You did.
You did, I read
You
it.
did. There was one that was
Shut
quite...
Beyond the pale.
You can get these snowstorms here.
Then moving on.
You can't.
You can off eBay, the limited edition. You can't get the Rock, that was created. Scrapbooks, these were based on my own scrapbooks.
You can get the rock, can't
You
you?
can't get the Rock. But you can maybe from now on.
Look, last Gatiss.
We had a funny thing for us that we realised would never translate, which was there was a running joke about every way you saw it, it said League of Gentlemen,
Yeah.
which is
We wanted
perplexes
it in,
us because
didn't
the is missing and the men is man. And it was always angrily crossed out and replaced with an E. But
It was
we
too
thought
labyrinthine, wasn't it?
Probably wouldn't translate.
Too many levels to it. Is that a big baba you're holding?
It's a sausage.
It's a
Oh,
verse.
it's a sausage.
It's a verse.
The worst pun in the world.
Oh, yeah,
He's
I
just
see
got that.
One, he just got it. Here we go. This is a high shot. Look, that's my double.
Is that Sean?
Yeah, and then that's me. That was an awkward one to do because it was just that line. I was thinking, I've got to fucking
Queer
get back
and
into
queer
that.
finery here.
You had to
don't
put the
bum
pussy
me.
eyes back on, didn't
I
you?
did.
I'm not queer, don't bum me. Went and then came back at the
Yeah,
last minute.
it was cut. What?
For the American release, the Snatch Eyes.
No.
Guys.
And we got special
Very funny.
dispensation
We
to have
did.
the Georgia
Georgia
Bastards.
Vasda, yes.
Like the Spunky Giraffe is another joke that keeps on.
Yeah, keeps
getting,
on
and
delivering.
every time it's mentioned,
It's
a
great.
bit
I mean, the
like that.
funniest
Especially
thing
when
is
David does it really
Warner.
gravely.
Yeah. David Warner saying Georgia Vasda.
It's very funny.
It's very
It is
funny.
very
And it's absolutely right that Jeff would wear Georgia Vasda clothes.
Yeah.
Because he any time he buys clothes, he just goes fills up the trolley, doesn't
He
he?
goes and gets a bag of crisps and buys a Coke.
He buys Tuck biscuits,
Oh
surely.
yeah, of course it is.
Now this was messed up, wasn't it? So you
Messed up, and I ended up actually just being in the ladies' cuddle, tortured. The only thing that was different was that my legs were the other way around, behind my head.
because it was supposed to be a mirror underneath, wasn't
It's
it?
quite cartoonish. I mean, obviously it doesn't look real, but
There was, there was concern that it was too silly.
But I like it.
But I like it. I think it's just silly.
But do you not think it'd be good if you did a little pump, like
It's quite enough of that in this film.
as it's being squeezed? And...
Oh,
There's quite enough
God.
bumps elsewhere.
All right, no, I'm just throwing it in.
This is all. I love this. It's very tightly scripted. This bit, and there's lots of wordplay and witticisms.
Yeah.
Point them
It's
out.
appropriate. Well, it's
We've
the,
missed
it's
them all
the
now.
repetition of the joke. Of,
Repetition of
There's
there's my
these
real
three
name,
fellas.
and there's my and these three fellas.
Yeah,
Ponsonby
I really
Snottington
like-
Smile.
Yeah, I really like it.
It's like the idea that that Blizzard's name was
That's
ultimately
right.
changed. I don't know
Somehow
when
he
it
knows
happened.
it, yeah.
But now it from Snottington Smile.
There's a bit we missed. I wanted to point out where we repeat David's line.
Yes, homunculus.
It was the no and
Homunculus, and it's actually shown twice, isn't
Yeah.
it?
For the humour of it. And here we are. Look.
Now we were blessed,
That
of course, as well
photograph.
as with having quite a few people from our series come with us, including Rob.
Yes,
Kitzman.
true.
Rob Kitzman, DOP, and obviously Steve Bendelack. Our
DOP means director of photography for.
No, he's our DOP. It's something else. He's
Eve,
just our DOP.
Joby.
There's an ironical joke, although you don't really get it 'cause it's so quick we're off it, that there's a big, massive kind
Fresco.
of fresco of all my characters on
Well,
my
I've seen
wall.
that get a laugh.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
But how is it a joke? I mean, it's a detail.
It shows,
it's
it shows
the
the
arrogance.
inherent
Yes,
arrogance.
All right, yeah.
It's the one from Reece's own house.
Yeah.
I like the music for that afternoon.
Once again, we get a laugh out of Mongoloids.
Yes.
And we
it's
put the
terrible.
phone music back on from the first scene, which was a
yes, a
late
little-
edition.
Yes,
Wasn't
we thought that would be. They've all just got that ringtone.
it? But wasn't this the first scene that was?
This
This was the
very
actual,
first. This was
very
the actual
first
first
scene
scene.
ever.
Yeah.
Me in that suit. It was very strange. And there's a nice little detail here when I picked the keys that the Papa Lazar was watching on.
True. We got
See
very
it?
excited on that because it was the first day of filming and there were all these details.
So,
It felt good,
something
yeah.
out of nothing.
Yeah.
That's what we thought.
And there's the real Mark who's
Yeah,
talking.
and I'm speaking to Matt, so something's up.
I redid that in post-production to make it more James Mason because it wasn't strong enough.
Right.
So here we're playing Guess Who, which is one of my favourite
something very
games
funny about it being Guess Who that you're playing.
to play.
It gets a
with.
laugh, doesn't it?
It does.
The fact,
Well,
just
people
the
know
mere
it.
fact of Guess Who.
Unfortunately, we spent forever auditioning these children. They were great, and
Underused.
actually lost
Tito.
most of it.
Yeah,
Tito, yeah.
there was a lot more to this when he gets pulled out of the house. And
That
there's
might
a
be
scene.
in the extras.
Yeah, it'd be nice. There's a scene.
Guys,
with
already
the-
done it.
Yeah. More League of Gentlemen on the walls of the League of
We're
Gentlemen's house.
obsessed with ourselves.
Arrogant way.
It's not like that in real life.
They weren't missing all them pictures because they
Did they?
Yeah, they were meant to give them to us as gifts at the end, but they weren't missing.
Yes.
Typical.
Now, will
Now
people
we've
get
rumbled him.
the Great Escape reference?
Oh,
Yes, they do.
very
actually.
all right.
It's a huge reaction.
I'm just saying. Will they get it? I mean, people who don't know it might not.
You could drive a bus through this scene. Endless.
It's cut down.
home.
Yeah, no, it's a
I
very
love
good
that. I
scene.
love the fact, Steve, that you're actually going upstairs just like Gordon Jackson on the bus as well.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah, it's
there.
off.
They were going to go up and scrabble around the room trying to find a DJ.
But at that point there, one of the little kids comes in and we all have to remain.
Says, Daddy, he's not your
Daddy.
child, and
It was
all
a
that.
big
Yeah, it
emotional
was
moment.
good.
It went.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
This shot is live. It
I
took-
love the music here. It's great. The excitement
is.
of the
That
journey.
brass is
Yeah, it's
fantastic.
fantastic. And the whole going
Isn't
back
this
down
meant to
into
be another
the...
third man
Yeah,
reference?
it doesn't quite work because it's not standing there, the light coming on. But there we are.
Close.
And look, there's your double, and there's the real Mark.
Oh,
I love it because I really don't think you, at that point, think of that at all. You
Well,
just
of
think,
course
oh,
you
there's,
don't.
there he
Of course
is,
you
and
don't.
there he is. It's fantastic.
ahead,
And then we
here we
all
go.
on our knees going down that
Crouching.
pretend.
Pretending to go.
That was really good, Dusty. That was like
Yeah, because you
went-
threw me down onto the
Oh,
floor.
sorry.
Cracked his
I didn't
knees.
have anything to do with it. So this was hell, wasn't it?
We ought
yeah.
to say as well that ceiling was replaced digitally because it was
right.
grey.
Yeah.
Remember?
It was all
It's half
stripy, wasn't it?
full.
With
Wrong,
muck.
wrong colour.
So here, every single person
Wasn't there.
wasn't there when.
I
We were,
wasn't
we
next
were.
to Hairlit.
Isn't it true that this was you got on set and you realised it was impossible?
It was
to
a
It's
do?
like, it's like the
Gundian
puzzle
knot.
with the farmer, the grain, and the fox, and he has to row them
Yes.
across and take different
It was
combinations.
impossible in the time slot. We had to come back and do bits. And there was a bit when Steve went off to get changed into from Hairlip into Steve.
So this lineup here is all three of us were different places.
That's right.
Yeah.
None of us were there.
Although it looks like the simplest thing to
Yeah,
do.
because it's us three.
We were not next to each other at
But
all.
we're looking at X's on the wall and all
And
that
this
sort
bit,
of
I don't know
stuff.
how it works.
Brilliant,
this,
isn't it?
you know, the way I sort of move the shoulder and all that.
Really brilliant.
Well, you did it with a double, didn't you? And then
Can I
they-
say it was done in 30 seconds?
Yes. you
Yeah.
can,
Because it had to be.
Well,
done
Frame Store and Steve Bendelack, our director, have been brilliant on the.
Absolutely.
I mean, the technical stuff is just phenomenal on this.
They've
Yeah, I-
rescued a number of things.
Absolutely. Steve was utterly convinced that this would be fine. And I was thinking, it can't be. How could he
yeah.
possibly... Well, I'm sure I'm not looking in the right place. And he was like, it will.
It
It'll come
absolutely came
together. It'll
through
work.
for
And
us,
it
yeah.
does. It's great.
The
and that
effects in
eerie
this film-
sound is great in that point of the... in that room, the kind of wind. It's really good.
Now there's only Mark. The other two are doubles,
Yeah.
aren't they?
I'm the only
we
real
couldn't
one there,
get
yeah.
there in time.
I
could we,
got
to get
just
trained?
as it they call cut.
That's right. So I had to wobble in front of everyone.
And this, I mean, I don't know how they managed to get all them cranes with all those fireballs in the clouds
Yeah.
so far back.
They used zeppelins.
It was
didn't they?
really clever, and you know that place didn't mind being
Zeppelins, and they
bombed.
threw burning sheep
Yeah.
off the zeppelins.
Now let's praise our director Steve
Everyone.
Bendelack here.
Yeah,
Because
Conjuring an apocalypse out of
we have got
nothing.
not only that, but we've got like 3 or 4 characters each that we play, and so we spent a week doing this scene, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a week in Evoker at that church.
And we had
more,
we had to go
actually.
and
Was
get
it?
changed.
7
into-
days.
different combinations of characters.
Yeah. Look at this. It's great. It does look, cinematic.
We had a marvellous time though. It was very dirty and cold and everything, but everyone was pulled together so much, and the effects team.
Pat and his team, yeah.
They were just the most brilliant people. You can trust your life in their hands.
Yeah.
Actually had to.
Well, they loved it because if people enjoyed the script and the story and everything, they will just go the extra mile, and we've always found that.
There's something really good about when all the characters emerge from the gravestones, because somehow we imagined originally that it would be all our characters all coming in. You kind of almost feel that it is.
You feel an amount, don't you? It doesn't feel sparse.
Yeah.
I love the kind of sickly yellowness of this. It does feel sulphurous, doesn't it?
Strangely enough, this kind of thing of the characters suggesting ideas that are old spin-off film ideas has become a kind of a hook for a lot of people's opinion of this film, isn't it?
They'd rather have seen us go.
Yeah.
But didn't we had a thing, wouldn't we, that you said that you imagined the review. Unfortunately, that's the film I would have liked.
Liked to have seen.
And it's exactly what's happened.
And it's exactly what's happened, yeah. I predict. And then this is Steve. I'd love to know what the idea was that was going to salvage it.
Oh, I know.
Tell us. Really good, actually.
In my mind, it was something to do with the tails idea.
Was it?
No, it's something to do
This
with
might
falling.
work.
He's worked out how to make the tails work. We'll never know.
Brilliant.
Scanners.
Very good effect.
Yeah. That's the
I heard
Henry
someone
Nally
in a preview say "fucking hell" just before you did it.
That's really good. And then brilliant. It worked out that it was half heart with a gun and being blind.
Nice
that was
coincidence.
a happy accident, wasn't it? This is a funny line with it. I love the echo as well.
You were sitting on like a vaulting horse.
Yeah, not ever a real horse.
It was so dangerous around there actually having the horse.
There was horses, flames.
Although I did do a bit on the back of a horse. It was
With the
absolutely
stunt
terrifying.
guy,
I thought, here we
yeah.
go, Christopher Reeve. I did!
I thought Roy Kinnear.
Gobble.
The same outcome.
But we all wanted to be on horses as those four characters, like the four
Yes.
horsemen of the
Oh God, imagine that.
apocalypse.
There wouldn't have been room for four horses.
Well, no, they needed
Do
four
you remember when we
people.
first saw this without even the effects and we thought, oh God, it's going to work, it's great,
Yeah, it
with
was
the sound.
The Star Trek acting.
Yeah, it really
It's
worked.
really
Well, Greg, our producer, said, who'd just done Omar, he said it reminded him of that.
Oh, great. And there's a little flashback to the
And Leanna
confessional
was
booth.
there.
Yeah, Leanna was there, it was great.
She was the only person we could afford because we wanted Bruno and some of the other characters from earlier.
Yeah,
actually
Dahlia.
couldn't afford to rebook them, unfortunately.
He's the main baddie in this.
Most
It's
of the
funny
flames,
like
those are things called Dantes, aren't they?
Which is
kind
basically just a big oil drum, isn't
Yeah.
it? With kind of gas.
of
coming out of
burning
it.
car tires. It's all illegal.
Yeah.
And suddenly here we are in the Poseidon Adventure.
Yes, marvellously.
Brilliantly.
Which, of course, you had to turn down to do this film.
Yes, ironically enough.
You were offered the Roddy McDowell role in the
I
remake.
was, but I was doing this instead.
That's a lovely effect shot as well.
And us not there, well, we were climbing up
You
another.
were climbing up outside the studio, weren't
Yeah.
you? Oh.
Not that we wouldn't have done it. We did climb as high, but it was just we couldn't do it on the day. This is a great killing.
Twiddle twaddle.
It is a good killing.
Yeah,
isn't
it
it?
is. It's really funny and
Yeah.
a great sound effect of the blood squirting.
Kebabbing.
out.
Yeah.
And that was just miming, wasn't it?
I love that. Plop, plop, plop.
Oh, you bad sod.
Say about bad sod, Matt. That's funny.
That's from
Alan Bennett, isn't it?
Bennett's
Alan
diary.
Bennett,
It's
yeah.
what his dad said, his reaction to the killing of the otter in Ring of Bright Water.
Oh, you bad sod.
It's really funny.
Really funny.
This
then
is
it-
my favourite.
This is a great laugh.
I
This
remember
was a-
writing
yeah,
this
proper,
bit and
yeah.
you say, man, no, we've got to keep that in because this is very funny. Shelley Winters. How funny it would be. I think it's very surprising and correct that we all die at the end. And we only worked out recently that it's all accidental, isn't it? All our deaths in it, as the League of Gentlemen.
Or accidents.
Or accidents.
Yes, true, yeah.
Yeah.
It's something psychological.
Yes, I know.
Just as much as actually ending up fighting a three-headed monster, which we didn't notice the huge symbolism of.
Yeah.
Now let's say about
Of ourselves.
the filming of this, because we had Kieran, our cameraman, was sort of shooting Mark there, and Steve wanted a lot of rubble and dust falling in front of the camera. And we were shooting on high definition tape, which is brand new technology, and all the dust got in the camera.
Yeah, it was
ruined it.
ruined. It had to be sent back.
Thousands of pounds worth of damage.
Steve was also throwing rocks directly at my face, which I think.
There was a funny
There is
line
one
here
that's thrown in.
that was cut just before that when you return with
Yeah.
that smoke, and I was berating Dr. P for creating all this smoke, saying, "Have all the council on to you about all this smoke, you know.
No bonfires can be lit.
People have still got the washing out." And it was cut for time.
Well, I actually think he wouldn't have
Red.
You're talking about the scene of the smoke coming
Yeah,
from the
yeah, yeah. You would have
homunculus.
thought, do you mean which smoke?
But David was doing it
might
as if
have
he
got to
was
that.
just bored.
Yes,
listening to
yeah.
it. It was very funny.
Kind of like he'd be listening for a long time. But it just at this point we needed to kind
But
of get
also,
on with
P is strangely tolerant of Jeff, isn't he?
Yes.
He's kind of got him as a little dog
No, I
now.
think he loves it.
it. Yeah, strangely. But he turns on him in the end.
In the end.
Has to
Now
get
all
rid
this
of it.
was shot over several nights, wasn't it? Because obviously in a filming day it starts to get dark, and so there's a lot of daylight shots mixed in with nighttime shots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was tough, wasn't it? 'Cause we,
And your death on the floor, Matt, was
it's
totally
pitch black.
lit, wasn't it? It
Absolutely,
wasn't
yeah.
real light.
Yeah.
Because we'd run out of light
He
completely.
means ground, but
He means ground, but...
What's
It's
that?
funny. We've been filming the other day, she said, get on the floor.
it's like
Matt said, she
graveyard.
means ground, but... And I just did the same mistake. Right, here we go. Here's the music coming in.
And look
And
what's
I went
coming.
to... I know, absolutely brilliant. I went to Ireland just to hear the music be recorded, and this was just my...
So,
It was so exciting to hear this music, the raising of the homunculus fight.
But who would ever think that you would see such a thing
I know, in a comedy.
in a comedy?
we're so lucky to
In a
be
British
able to
comedy.
get
In a
away
British
with
comedy,
this.
yeah.
It is amazing. And done a
Saying I
brilliant
always
job.
wanted to have this kind of a fight with an invisible monster, and in the end, what it actually is really difficult because it's not choreographed.
Yeah.
You just have to jab and duck, and there's nothing else you can do.
The music is
But your
brilliant.
act kept falling off, didn't it?
Yeah, I was hoping it would kind of stay off.
It's more than about his hair getting messed up.
Oh,
Something's the
oh,
But I miss Pauline's line about try saying its name 3 times. Oh no, that's Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah, that's good. I love Mark trying to get away. It's a great exciting. That was good. That looked back with us. There's someone above, wasn't there, dropping big lumps of rubber?
yeah, yeah.
But isn't it strangely undramatic?
Is that right?
Yes.
Who said that?
Potentially. Someone did.
Someone did. One of the notes we had was
This
the
commentary
ending.
will seem so strangely of its time.
Yes. And this is great. This is where we are fully
This is great.
operating on the idea that Herlip now is just realising that he speaks in innuendo
And he's had enough
And
of
using it.
and using it
As a
at the
weapon.
same
Oh,
time.
it's clever.
He's turned it around, hasn't he?
Clever.
Remember how green and kind of crap that
Yes,
hand
very
was, and we
much.
kind of made it better. in
Tone
it.
it down a bit.
Yeah.
Doctor Who effect, wasn't it?
Yes.
Nothing.
We did another version of this where the sitcom was called Lip Sync, wasn't it? Where Hair
Good
Lips
as
a Plumber.
well.
That was the funnier one, I think. You just made it up on the day, didn't you?
Lip Sync. You're a plumber and
Her lips are plumber.
You're a plumber, and you can see him in the outfit.
With his name on.
Yeah.
Embroidered.
There seems to be a lot of you could do with it as well. There's a drip from your end. Things like that.
Oh, your passage is all bunged up.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
oh,
And then
I sad this. It gets me every time.
It isn't.
It is.
it is cruel. And there was a line. Why didn't I think of that before? It was cut.
I think that would have been better than I had to cheat.
I do.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a good death.
It's a good death. It's just a long
You have the most deaths,
audition
Mark.
for Doctor Who. Please take note.
Why?
It's just
Right.
like
regeneration,
Oh, as who?
isn't
It's a
it?
regeneration. Of
About to
course
go.
it is.
Come on.
But who would you like to come back as?
Yes, who would be Briss? David Williams?
What, in the regeneration?
Yes.
I think
The new Briss.
Yes.
New hubris.
Nubris.
It would be, I think, wee Jimmy Cranky.
Wee Jimmy Cranky. So he'd be tiny in the clothes. That would be
Yes, yes, it would work.
good. Yeah. Has to get a new outfit. Fat or big fit?
You can see it.
Following it through.
I think this new body will take a bit of wearing in.
Now we
This
had
is
trouble.
difficult.
We had trouble here, didn't we? Because
Yeah.
David has to receive.
Oh, it was just suddenly a flaw in our
On his
plan.
bare hand.
The
And he was wearing
poison thing.
gloves. He was
Yeah.
wearing gloves.
So you had to put a shot in of him taking his
That-
glove
that
off to
shot
make it
there.
work.
And then a lot
Especially-
of sort of fabric noises to suggest you were holding it.
Yeah, and they put a big sound of the knife coming out. So you
That's
think you
just
could
from
see
beyond the
it.
grave, that shot.
It is. It's like we've seen it before 1,000 times.
But in a good way.
But in a good way, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's burned. Should get t-shirts with that on.
Yes.
I like the way
Well, we
the,
can do
the
it on
music
the talk, can't we?
Yes, yeah, we could. That's a good idea.
which is coming up. This will already be released,
I think we'll have done it.
and that is a P. Going back to the P comments we made before.
Yes. Do you think you get that?
We did want a kind of melting head like Raiders, didn't we?
We did. But it all went
Well, I
out the
wanted that
window.
line. Don't get mushy, P. But No one else likes it.
No, I didn't go with it. See, that's great CGI. Look, because is it CGI? No, it's not.
No, it's digital compositing.
I think it's magic.
Because there I am as Jeff and Beneath in the same.
And it's one of those you don't really notice, isn't
Yeah,
it?
you know, it's seamless.
Now this church
They absolutely wrecked it.
is the one that, if there'd been a funeral, we'd have had to clear it up. Is that right?
No, that's the exterior.
Exterior.
That was the graveyard.
But weirdly, you can't see the devastation.
This was in Bray, wasn't it?
You can
You
see
can
it.
look.
Well, you see some fire in the background, but if you knew what it was like to be there.
They took out all
Well, you
those
did,
pews.
you were there.
Took out all those pews and just replaced it with matchwood.
You can see on the documentary.
Yes.
That accompanies this.
There's a couple of this
yeah.
disc.
Yeah.
And this is the sad
Why doesn't he not
moment.
say to Pauline, "You will never write"?
'Cause there isn't one.
Pencil. There isn't one.
She hasn't got a
She's
feeling that she will
fulfilled.
not
She's
do.
a lesbian. She's happy. She's married.
Our quality of life. If we cannot change who
She's a lesbian. She's married. How's
She's
that
happy. She's married. I
fulfillment?
don't know.
What about me?
The camera really shakes on this shot. You look at this. Not this one. This one here. As it goes to whoa.
Is it not a handheld shot?
No, it was on.
Was it on the
tracks,
dolly?
Yeah.
Say how I know I am.
Doesn't matter.
But I think at this ending, because you've got all the different worlds colliding, you've got the reality and the two fictional worlds. We did talk about having this mixture of styles.
Yes, yeah, we're in kind of
So I
all
think
worlds.
maybe that is allowable.
Could be.
I love it when.
I wish I'd said here Mark Gatiss and you'd corrected me, Gatiss.
I know.
You should have done it. I don't care if it's indulgent. It's
But
funny.
I love that.
At that point.
I look then.
That would have been really funny.
I know.
It was in.
It was in.
Was it?
Yeah, it was like, no, get rid of it. It's too indulgent.
It is indulgent, genuinely.
It is indulgent.
But it would have set it there forever.
We haven't. I mean, let's say we were very worried about being indulgent.
Yeah.
It's true, actually.
We
And
were.
we were very good, weren't we, at policing ourselves?
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
This
It's
is a
just the
great
idea
moment.
is funny if he's got to go with it, you know.
And he shoots him.
That's a proper shock, though, to some people. To
Yeah,
others
yeah,
not,
yeah.
but to
It's
some
great.
it is.
Here we go
I
again.
don't think you expect it. Look at that, a demon.
Chinnery in this was Tapio, my makeup artist, lovely band, made him into a kind of Japanese demon, didn't he?
Yeah, again.
Big
another-
eyelashes.
He was longer in makeup than
It
Tubbs.
was strange.
It was like, what are we
It's
waiting on
really
while Mark's got to
beautiful,
get ready?
yeah.
It's
Just a
January.
wig.
Oh, what's the wig?
It was made beautiful.
It's like a shop dummy.
It's an hot on.
Yeah, rubber come alive.
He's always trying it on.
Slightly
That's why I don't like
spurning,
him.
yes.
Slightly spurning who?
The elephant man.
Yeah,
It's not that he was advancing.
There's a
But
moment.
still
He
nervous
feels
about it.
nervous, yes.
I love her.
There we go,
Stay
it
over
comes back.
there. She looks like Shirley Williams. She.
She.
So this is the miracle.
And no, suddenly back in the clothes. Remember
being
the
cleaned.
agonised.
Strangely effective.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a kind of an accident because we were very puzzled about when do the clothes return to
We
normal.
were vexed, weren't we?
Yes.
That really we wanted. What would have made sense is for the scaffolding to have been on church in the real world,
Yeah.
but actually, in order to climb up it, it had to be the other way around, which was a shame.
This is a sad
Oh,
moment.
it's sad.
What does he wish for when he looks at that
Yeah, he's
picture?
just reflecting. I don't think he's
A game of
wishing.
Yeah, right.
No,
Game
he's
of
just
He
reflecting
wishes
on.
he was in the car park at Honeywood where it was taken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 days
That
before
originally
production
was
started.
like doves, goats, ponies,
Yes.
and became one
It was
stupid
like Snow
rabbit.
White, wasn't
Yeah.
it? But I like the fact that the music reflects the Christmas special, for those who know.
It's nice, yes.
What is the fate of these children?
And I love it when she.
They are buggered and murdered.
Oh, involuntarily. Look at that, involuntary, Steve.
It was.
She just.
So
Outstretched
And this was made up on the day
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, let's just do this.
It was like, well, of course they are going to be a couple.
Oh,
It was
what
great.
about Mickey and all this?
It's found.
Mickey's been jilted.
I know.
He's
Well, it's
a
bubble,
wife
it's a
beater anyway,
bubble.
don't you remember?
Oh, yeah. That was the horrible,
A brute.
that was the horrible secret.
You can't say that.
Was.
Libel.
Here we
Can't
go.
libel the dead.
Oh, right, no.
But the living. Oh.
And there they all are. That was.
Now, where
That's
they
supposed
come
to be
from?
like End of Return of the Jedi, isn't it?
Yes, we were going to
Oh,
put Hayden
waving.
Christensen on top of it at the end. It was all a dream.
Can you- and that is the joke of this film.
It's not because it's
Apparently.
more than
Shameful.
that. It's more than that
No,
because
no,
of the
he's
tail.
keeping them alive, but they're keeping him alive because, as the nurses say, I wonder what's keeping him.
All right,
Exactly,
fair
it's
enough.
not-
However,
Don't. Now, what about
explain that.
the tails?
Ah, there's Jeremy.
There's Jeremy.
There's Jeremy
with
Dice.
the biggest tail that he insisted on having.
I didn't. I was
You
giving
did.
it.
He's a
then she
hero.
trips
His
up on
tail
it.
is big. He wrote.
Now, it was a source of much debate, wasn't it? Whether
This
to
ending.
end on us switching the machine off.
Yeah. We should. I wish we'd had time to shoot both. I do. Yes. Oh God, it's
But-
finished.
I'll tell you what, though. I was talking to someone who'd seen a preview of it, and they said they came with their 13-year-old child, and he said afterwards we talked for about half an hour about that ending and what it meant. And I said, well, that is exactly what
we thought might
happen. Yeah. And I knew you'd be pleased with that.
They
couldn't arrive at any conclusion because of course
no, you can't.
It's good. It's a big question. Well, there we go. That's the end of the
we should have cheered everyone.
We've got a long way to go yet. This
Cheer
goes on forever.
Richard,
Yes.
Joby.
Don't just read the name.
I'm giving them, But
I'd like to say a big thank you, especially to our Irish crew, who we didn't know, and they were fantastic, and we had a really good laugh doing it. It was very hard work, but we got really pulled together, and it was great fun.
Yeah, look. First time ever, really. Well, in fact, the first time ever that our characters have been
listed next to your names,
displayed like that, and it's not.
I can't believe it says Red Devil.
Well, it has to be noted that I was that devil. You don't want Red Devil, do you? I do.
Do you remember that Eve charmingly called him Father Half-Hat here?
Yes, Half-Hat here.
Peter
Silas, Father Silas Half-Hat.
Simon Pigg is played by Peter Kay, and Peter Cow is played by Simon
I
Pegg.
know. We say it should have been Double G.
Pig Double G, yeah.
Definitely.
But I was going to say...
Beautiful music.
We must also say our wonderful first Karen, who was extraordinary.
Who scheduled it. I mean, imagine having to schedule that.
She used to say to us, I'm glad you're across this. And we weren't. She was. It was amazing how she...
What were you going to say to me, Steve?
No, I was going to say, let's reflect on the experience during his very moving music.
I know, precisely.
But the film hasn't been released, so we can't quite get it out.
Knows
it's like Jeff, we're pushing...
What? And Todd?
Bad air is coming out, but we haven't
straining noises over.
We haven't had the evacuation.
Don't make it like it's a pile of shit ready to come out.
But what I'm saying is, we're just still a little bit
constipated.
It's not out of us yet.
It could be like a golden egg.
We've got to have a load of bran.
The reviews will be our brand.
Who knows?
But I actually don't care what the reviews are.
No, we know we've done well.
I think it's
very proud.
It's ambitious and.
Very proud.
It's not George and Mildred, is it?
No.
No, if only that's what they'll be saying.
But if only it were. That, I'm afraid, gentlemen. I would rather see you. Who is he?
We discovered one thing we discovered. It's very hard to get a film made in this country, or even in Ireland, and we're very pleased and proud of our movie, and we'd love to do another one.
So
of these
please
days.
help us. It's like a plea. It's like we've got people with guns to our head.
All checks to the League of Gentlemen.
This is going out on the internet.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you who needs credit. Right, Ed Guiney and Greg Brenman, our producers.
Correct, yes.
And Peter Bennett-Jones, our executive producer, who put the deal together, because at one point we weren't going to do it, were we?
It was tough. It was very
And all the
tough.
guys at Universal who...
were right behind it.
Right behind it, and Film 4, and Tessa was right behind it and loved it. From
and Ivan
stage.
at Universal,
Yes.
all incredibly supportive from the word go.
Yeah, so we had a really good team of people. I hope you've enjoyed it.
I did.
Yeah, who knows?
This is an unusual thing because usually the credits on the TV series are over in 30 seconds. This lasts 4 minutes in order to make the film
Look at all the
precisely
people
90.
who made the puppets.
I know. Shouldn't be called puppets either.
No,
Some
it demeans it, doesn't it?
Creatures.
Should have been
Creature
creatures.
design it should have been.
Absolutely, yeah. But we
But
know
this
that.
this piece of music was at the end of the third series.
It's very
and
beautiful.
it's
Really makes me cry.
Also, it's great that we use a little bit of the King's Eel music as well. It kind of allows you to have a little taste of all three worlds once again.
Yeah.
At the end.
I often wonder though, people, because a couple of the screenings, whether they're waiting for a gag reel, which will never come.
But they do. They are rewarded with a joke if they
Well,
sit
that's
through
right.
to the very end.
Yes. That's
Absolutely,
what we're
yeah.
doing.
That's-
But again, I don't know, viewer, that you'll get very many outtakes because we
Didn't have time.
Didn't have time to go wrong, did
No.
we?
There's bits
Not
and
very many.
pieces. There's bits of scenes.
Yeah,
Machines we are.
we are,
Machines, yeah.
and it's the execution of
Where's
it.
Katie Tyrrell in all this?
No, don't say that.
We should have thanked Jeanette Linden, our agent, as well, but we forgot.
Well, we've just done it.
No, we didn't forget, we just...
Oil on that.
Well, we've done it now anyway, so there you go.
Yes.
Anyway, coming up here, the final joke.
That we will be.
The League of
The Windmills
Gentlemen
of
will
Your
return
Bum.
in Windmills of Your Bum, which was going to be the title of the
Working
film at
title.
one
But
point.
is everyone going to have tails in that?
Just
Just bums.
bumps.
And on that note,
Good night, and may your God go with you.
goodbye.